Hello, my name is Tammy Beasley. I'm a registered dietitian specializing in sports nutrition, and today we're going to take a few minutes to talk about performance nutrition for the game of soccer. Soccer is unique. It's high intensity, intermittent exercise. Distance covered is going to vary with the individual, their style of play, their fitness level, but typically it averages 5 to 6 miles per soccer game. And during that 5 to 6 miles, the player is required to sprint, jog, walk, stride, go backwards, forwards, sideways. It's a very exciting, high intensity, energetic game that requires the appropriate fueling for these athletes to be able to start the game and finish it just as strong. Soccer taps into both aerobic and anaerobic energy systems, although primarily 60% aerobic, but this makes for a unique fueling situation for these athletes. Also, just the fact that they change direction or speed every 4 to 5 seconds puts the level of good nutrition at a very high need. There are 3 top nutrition concerns for the soccer athlete. The first, the games can be scheduled close together. And a lot of times that leaves very little time for the players to refuel and to recover between games. Secondly, heavy fluid losses can be very common, even in colder weather, just because of the lack of time for replacing the fluid. That makes fluid and hydration needs very important for the soccer athlete. And third, the time and quality of the post-game fuel. It's critical to maintain performance, especially if a second game is in a short period of time. So today I want to touch on before, during, and after fueling of food as well as fluid for the soccer athlete. Let's start with before game food. It's ideal, I'll say it's critical, it's ideal if the soccer athlete could eat 2 to 3 hours prior to the first game. This is not always possible, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But assuming that that is possible, what to eat? Quality carbohydrates, so important. The more whole grain, the better. Fresh fruit combined with lean proteins. And the lean proteins, egg, Canadian bacon, lean meats, tuna, fish, chicken, turkey, all the standards we know about. Also, good quality protein includes peanuts or any other nut butter, and low-fat dairy, although some athletes may not tolerate that. If they do, it's an excellent protein source. It also provides some carbohydrates, so it does 2 things at one time. Examples of this I'm going to get into in just a second, but it can be very simple. Whole wheat bread with turkey and a little lettuce, tomato, a side of pretzels, and a banana would make a perfect pre-game meal. The key here is when. The closer to the game, the less fiber, the less fat, and actually the less protein the athlete needs. The reason being is because their bodies need to get to that energy fast. Fiber, protein, and fat, even from something like peanut butter, will slow down the energy release. That's why it's a beautiful combination 2 to 3 hours before. But the closer you are to the next game time or to starting that game, you need less fiber, less protein, and more easily digestible carbohydrates. Something simple as a banana and some pretzels would be more geared to that quick start game versus being able to add protein if you have several hours prior. If solid fuel is not tolerated, that can be from many different reasons, but if it's not tolerated, it's critical that at least the athlete drinks their fuel or eats a protein energy bar that's very easily digested. We'll go through a couple more examples in just a moment. Assuming the game is in the morning, here are some examples of power breakfasts. Time to prepare, nothing better than a whole wheat English muffin, scrambled eggs, and Canadian bacon, and a side of orange slices or orange juice. Oatmeal cooked in low-fat milk to bump the protein up, with a little honey, nuts to add more protein, and fresh berries or banana. Perfect. Athletes have done very well with these 2 choices, but in a hurry, can still fuel your body. Whole wheat tortilla with turkey slices, 2% cheese rolled up with a tag of grapes. Off you go. You're ready. Your body will be set. Whole grain bagel with peanut butter. Again, apple slices, another great, easy, quick, grab, put it in the car, eat on the go. Both of those will fuel your body beautifully. We'll move on to What if you're not a breakfast eater? What if the nerves get to you and you just can't think about eating an English muffin with a scrambled egg? It's just not going to work for you. There's other options. Power smoothie, low-fat milk, low-fat yogurt with whey protein added, fresh or frozen fruit, a little peanut butter optional is a perfect on-the-go. Eases the stomach, easy to digest, but still gives you the carbohydrate and protein fuel that you need. Another example would be Protein Energy ready to drink canned supplements that are ready to go, like Boost is an example. You can find that in any grocery store, drugstore. Carnation Instant Breakfast with the banana is another great choice. And then finally, a protein energy bar like Cliff Builder Bar, which has a good ratio of carbs to protein, is another great example. Before game fluids, very important, drink 2 cups of water within 2 hours, and then about 15 minutes before, try to drink an extra cup. Studies have shown not only does this help maximize performance, since dehydration is one of the quickest ways to cut into the performance ability of an athlete. Their performance can drop 20% by just being dehydrated a couple of pounds, which is very easy to do in a 45-minute game of any sort. But research has shown that fluids consumed an hour before the game will actually help minimize the elevation of the heart rate and the body temperature during the game. So very positive. Okay. After game food, critical, especially if you're in a tournament and another game is just a short period of time away. It's critical to replace the energy stores with solid, good carbohydrates and to start rebuilding the muscle tissue that has been used and ripped during the game and needs repairing. So the way to do this is carbohydrates and protein together. The ideal ratio is 3 to 1. That would be 3 parts carbohydrates to 1 part protein. If you have an ounce of protein, 8 grams, you need 24 grams of carbohydrate, which would be about a pita pocket. So it's not hard to do, but it's often not solid foods that an athlete's wanting to consume in that first 30 minutes after the game is over. And that first 30-minute window is what is so important. That is when your muscles are open and ready to be refueled. After that period of time, the muscles tend to be a little more resistant to replacing the glycogen stores that they've used. So within 30 minutes, and then try to repeat again within 2 hours, if the schedule permits. So let's look at some options. Drink it. That's my preference because an athlete can consume a liquid far easier than they can solid foods right after a game. They're better tolerated. Low-fat chocolate milk is the ideal sports recovery drink. If the athlete can tolerate milk, I recommend nothing better. It's the perfect combination of carbohydrates to protein. It has natural electrolytes, sodium, potassium. Of course, it's a fluid replacement as well as the added calcium. It's perfect. If that's not an option because of refrigeration, there are other possibilities such as Rockin' Refuel or Regen. Those are 2 supplement products that are do not have to be refrigerated, that are very similar to chocolate milk. Or Boost is a ready-to-drink alternative. If you would like to eat it, you can certainly do that. It does not have to be in liquid form. Again, the protein energy bar, something simple like bagel or graham crackers with peanut butter, or homemade trail mix of pretzels, cereal with dried fruit and nuts. Those are all perfect refueling. But refueling after the game is so critical, especially if another game again is shortly coming in the horizon. Easy snack options between games. These are just some great ideas to keep with you depending on a tournament schedule, to have either in your duffel bag or in your cooler. And for example, these would be bananas, peanut butter crackers, Fig Newtons, cereal bars, individual nut packs, pretzels, dried fruit. If you notice, the carbohydrates listed here are easily digested, and that's going to be very important to make sure that that fuel is, your body can get to it quickly. The combination of the nut packs or the peanut butter will actually, if you have a little extra time, remember protein added to carbohydrates slows the energy down, the release of that energy down. So you have to play it depending on how quick the next game is. For your cooler, things like grapes, orange slices, fruit cups, mozzarella cheese sticks, yogurt squeeze tubes, again, a wonderful combination of carb and protein, and then individual boxed low-fat chocolate milk. These hopefully give you some options for your athletes so they'll be ready to go and playing at their best in the beginning all the way to the end. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or would like to ask me anything about an individual concern that you might have, please feel free to email me at the address listed right there, Tammy@revidupfitness.com. Thank you.